They said that you would be a great new James Bond to take over from Daniel Craig. Is that something that you've seen on social media, and what do you think of that?
The shoot is wet, but the martini is still dry.
Skills? Degrees?
Did a bit of construction back in the UK between fights. Another.
You're in luck. They've been at it a week, but there's a couple days left.
First, I want to thank you very much for keeping me kind of sane throughout lockdown over here, because the art of action really helped me through. I watched most of those with my son, so thank you for that. First of all, that was brilliant.
Oh, it's great to hear that.
Was that an idea was that something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, or was that just something that kind of, because of the situation,
came out of being in a pandemic and bored and thinking, what shall I do? And then I played around with a few things, and then I suddenly hit upon the art of action. Let's talk to other action stars about what it is to make action films, and directors and stuntmen. And yeah, it turned out to be quite a thing. And I need to do some more, but it was a bit of an undertaking. And I think possibly like COVID, I might be over it. But I need to get someone else to edit it for me. Then maybe I can do some more.
I mean, one thing that I got from that was, I got the feeling that maybe you don't speak with the other guys while you're actually acting in films with them. You don't get the time to speak about those kind of things. So it was kind of the time to sit down and speak with them about those things. Is that right?
I suppose so, yeah. I don't know, yeah. Too tired doing the action scenes, I think. When you get a moment's rest, you're like, okay, let's go again. Yeah, but now we can analyze it and watch it back. It's much more fun to watch the replay than it is to actually do it.
Yeah, I was just watching some of the when you were watching replays with the last film that you just finished. I think you just wrapped, no? Accident Man 2. I was watching the replays, and you were just like, that's how it's done. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, that's it's really hard. Sometimes it's soul destroying. You can do like a bunch of takes, and you go and you look at the monitor and you're like, oh, that felt, yeah, I think that was it. And then you watch it and it's like, that bit wasn't very good. We can do better. Have we got time? Should we do another one? Come on, let's do another one. And a lot of time on the schedules I'm working with, you're chasing perfection, but you can't achieve it because you don't have the time. You have to just live with the best option that you got.
Yeah.
You know, you just try. When you see one that you're happy with, it's really rewarding.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, talking about this film, Castle Falls, working with Dolph, the first thing I want to know is, were you involved from the very get-go, or was it first? Was it a script that Dolph loved, and he handpicked you for the role to play with him?
We were talking about doing a different film together, same sort of thing, him directing, and it didn't happen. And then this one came along, and it was actually the film I was talking about with him before wasn't the lead role, and this came along, and he said, "I'd like you to play the lead role, and I'll play the other part, and I'll direct it." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." I've always liked Dolph, always got along with him personally, like him. And he's a talented, smart guy. And so I was happy to jump on board. And yeah, it was a good experience.
He says she's strong enough to accept the transplant. She can't do any more chemotherapy. She's very sick now.
I got a proposition for you.
I'm sorry, I don't make deals with inmates.
Look, it's money in it for you.
How much?
$3 million. Cash.
So what was it like working with Dolph? How does he kind of approach the fighting scenes?
We worked more on the acting and the character and the story. And then we got together in a gym, and Tim Mann, who I normally work with, choreographed the fights, but then he couldn't come back to Alabama after the COVID thing, because, you know, COVID restrictions, they could only get me over there. So then Dolph he trusted me with the action, you know. He let me have a lot of input, and was able to be instrumental in filming the action sequences, and he allowed me to do that, which I appreciated. And in turn, it gave him a bit more chance to just concentrate on everything else you've got to do as a director.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you make movies, do you find yourself wanting to kind of give more input when it comes to fighting?
It depends who you're working with. I mean, so I'm on Ip Man 4, and I'm working with the legendary Yuen Woo-ping, who's the action director. I don't want to say anything to him. I want to just do as he tells me to do. I have too much respect. And then in China as well, you need to have respect because it's part of the culture. So I'm not going to go up there and say, oh, I was thinking about doing this.
Yeah.
No. And I don't need to as well. I want to have the quintessential Yuen Woo-ping, Donnie Yen experience. I'm there to help play this character in their movie. I don't need to say anything about the action. They are masters of the craft. I'm there to learn. And then there's movies I've done, like American films, where it's a big movie and I've got a supporting part, and it's not my place to say anything.
Yeah.
And I know that they're filming the fights completely wrong, and it's crap, and we're all wasting our time. Yeah. But I've got to stay quiet because it's not my place to say. If I'm on a film and I'm the lead, I have a say in how the action's shot. If I'm working with someone like Tin Man, Isaac Florentine, I can let them take care of it because I trust them. Andy Long on Accident Man 2. I can concentrate on other things because they're really good. But if I'm working with people that don't have as much experience as me, they will listen and do as they're told because I'm not wasting my time hurting myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And if I'm there in a position of power, then, I'm going to do it the way it needs to be done for the good of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. So, I mean, you mentioned there that with Dolph, you focused a lot on the acting, which is something that I really appreciate about this movie, because the first 45, 50 minutes, there's the opening scene, there's a fight there at the beginning, but then kind of like 40, 45 minutes, it's all, you're building these characters for a specific reason, because the payoff afterwards is a kind of a lot, it hits a lot harder, no? I understand from interviews and things I've read that you really, I think you still kind of study performing arts, no? You really want to kind of improve that as much as possible ever since you've started in this, no?
Of course, I'm an actor first and foremost. Yeah. I mean, I've always loved action movies, but my first job was a Hong Kong martial arts film. My second job was Doctors for the BBC.
Yeah, you did a lot of BBC.
They're completely different. So people have this misconception that I've come into it as a martial artist stuntman, but no, I've arrived as an actor that does martial arts. Now, I appreciate that my martial arts was superior to my acting when I started. And that's probably because I'm naturally a physical guy, and I was shy as a kid and I didn't have a lot of confidence. And I had to get that confidence to grow. And I needed more experience. It's easier to get martial arts. Well, I could have got amateur dramatics experience a bit more. But anyway, the point is, I've always been an actor. Mm-hmm. And I'm very... I'm all about the craft, and I want to keep getting better. And that's the beauty of this job. You can always, there's always room for improvement, and you never stop learning. And it's always that search for, being a better performer and making it work on the day. And in that sense, do you sometimes find yourself specifically rooting out scripts that will allow you to do that without actually even fighting? Do you look for scripts that maybe just allow you to focus on just the acting, or is that kind of difficult for you to work there? I know that what people want to watch me for, so I try to sort of wrap up a fight movie in a different genre, or I want to do more character-based action movies. But I love the craft of action as well, action filmmaking. I love the craft of acting, and I want to put both together. And yes, I've done some stuff that is just acting. But if I'm the lead in the movie, I want to give my audience what they want. I remember watching a Jeff Speakman film when he didn't do martial arts, and I was pissed off as a kid. Oh, no. So I think that really stayed with me. I don't want to do that I know what people want to see me do, but I try to make it more interesting for me with a different genre or, a different character.
$3 million in a building that's going to be dust inside 3 hours. Follow the guard. Find the money.
And then going back to Castle Falls, something that you say right at the very beginning of the film is that it's a young man's game. I think you're about the same age as me, 45 now, and Dolph's, he's about, how was he, about late 50s? I can't remember.
60s?
60, yeah.
It's about 65, I think. Is it?
But the both of you, you're fighting fit on fine form. Do you feel that in the business now, that it is a young man's game still? Because obviously you're working with younger martial artists as well, not specifically in this film, but in other films that you've been doing just recently. Is that something that you find is happening? Because I remember when you started the first film you did with Van Damme, I think, I don't know if it's true, I read a quote that you said that you had to dumb things down a little bit for him because the 80s movies, it was very different. I don't know if that's true.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I would never say something like that.
Mhm.
No.
But no, but the
Definitely
reason I
didn't
ask
say
is if you feel that kind of the young people coming into the
No, I
these
mean,
kind of
what I
movies,
might have said about that, I'm trying to think what I might have said, was that, you know, in the 90s and the 80s, what Van Damme was doing was the peak of what you could do at the time, pretty much. I mean, Hong Kong aside, but I think I might have said something like tennis, like soccer, like any sport. 10 years later, the athletes are going to be more superior because we're standing on the shoulder of the giants that came before. So I'm standing on the shoulders of Van Damme and Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and you start where they leave off in a way, you know. So the level of martial arts ability has gone up. You know, UFC's there. Everyone knows how to put someone in a rear naked choke. You know what I mean? It is a young man's game. We can all, like me and Dolph, can definitely put ourselves in the shoes of my character Mike, who's getting on in years and still having to physically perform. But you know, I'm getting older and I can't do some of the crazy jump spin kicks that I probably could do when I was mid-20s, but I'm still can do a lot for my age. And I think it's important to just you know, be the best that you can be in your circumstances, whether it's age or whatever. And it doesn't all have to be double somersaults and all the rest of it. You can make a really engaging action sequence with just the basics. And it depends on the tone of the movie, really. If I was going to be playing Spider-Man, I might need a bit more help with those triple flips these days.
A bit of CGI in there, So and then obviously so I said the first kind of 45-50 minutes is very character focused, but then it's spectacle after spectacle. But one thing, talking of spectacles, something that blew my mind was, I think this is the first time I've seen a character, and in this case Dolph, wear spectacles the whole way through the film, and they're just pristine by the end of the film.
Told him that he had a thing on the back, said, I can't punch you in the face, it comes around your neck or something. It's like, no, it's got a strap on the back, it won't come off. It's like, yeah, but what if I actually punch you in the glasses, mate? I think they're going to come off, aren't they? Anyway, he didn't see it that way. He's the director.
How about your shot?
I remember asking for your help, mate.
Something that I read was your favorite fight in a movie is, it was the fight scene in They Live. Is that still the case?
One of my favorite fights, yeah.
One of your favorites?
Because of the drama and the comedy. Yeah, the drama and the comedy and the way it unfolds, and the fact that you thought it was going to finish a couple of times, but it didn't. It just kept going. I just thought it was a fantastic fight scene. And yeah, we paid homage to it in Debt Collector too.
Also, in interviews for the film, Dolph said that he could see you as the Punisher. Just recently, you could see the Punisher. Yeah. Is that something you spoke to him about? Did that surprise you when you saw that in the interview that he gave?
No, we were doing one of these interviews, and he looked at me
together
and
when
said,
you did
you'd
it?
be a good Punisher. I've just realised that. I'm like, yeah, I think
so. You worked with
Dolph,
Dolph, and you've also worked with Ray Stevens as well, who played the Punisher. So
yeah, just was working with
stars are aligning, no,
Yeah. Well, no, look, the fact that I'm even talking about it rules me out of it ever happening anyway. So I'm just fantasizing in my own head. No, because I was a big fan of the Punisher as a kid. That was one of the comic books that I read regularly. And it's a character that, you know, he's a vigilante, isn't he? And he's dark and he's brooding. And I think that I have the look of what the Punisher could be, but I'm also quite good at playing that type of character. But John Bernthal does a brilliant job. So, you know, I'm not, you know, he's great. I enjoy watching him play it. But, you know, we were just talking about what I would do. I would take it in a more action route, of course. Yeah. But I just feel like I've had success playing that type of character in the past before anyway.
Yeah. Something else, a lot of people are talking about someone else that they'd like you to play. I don't want to jinx it for you two, but they said that you would be a great new James Bond to take over from Daniel Craig. Is that something that you've seen on social media, and what do you think of that?
The shoot is wet, but the martini is still dry.
Well, Sean Connery is still my favorite, yes. You can do that,
yeah. I mean, I look like the Timothy Dalton type of Bond, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but I mean the direction that Daniel Craig took it kind of more action focused, and you've definitely
Yeah, well,
got
that's what I would have done with it. But now probably you want to do something different to what Daniel Craig has done with it. He reinvented it. It's a tough act to follow, isn't it? I don't envy the guy that follows in those footsteps. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to do something. I don't know. What do you do? I really don't know. Don't give me the job because I haven't got a clue.
So
I reckon he should be like from Birmingham or something like.
Why didn't you do
007
that?
with a license
I was
to
surprised you
kill,
did.
mate.
You can do a good Birmingham accent. I was when you said you were from Birmingham in the film. I was watching it yesterday. I was like, why doesn't he do a Birmingham accent all the way through the film? That would have
Because
been
nobody wants to listen to this, do they? For an hour and a half. Bloody hell. They can't even do it in Peaky Blinders. I'm still waiting for my Peaky Blinders audition. Don't you want a real Birmingham accent?
You just wrapped on the second part of who you're bringing back, Mike Fallon. Mike Fallon's back. What can you tell us about that? I know that you found a fantastic choreographer and you've gone with two different directors this time. Can you tell me a little bit about where Mike's going this time and why you've gone with two different directors this time?
Jesse didn't want to come back for various reasons. So I lucked out and found these two great up-and-coming directors who have done a brilliant job. George and Harry Kirby. They're very visual, come from a stunt background as well, and have a great sense of humor, which was really good. The first film, I think, if I could do something different, it's to make it more humorous, and that's definitely the direction we've gone with the sequel. And you never know till the film's put together, to be honest, but I have a real good feeling about it. I think the action is going to be top notch. And when I think of every scene that we've shot, it's either action packed or insanely entertaining or funny. So yeah, Mike Fallon is now he's in Malta, getting up to his old tricks. And he bumps into an old mate of his and rekindles a friendship that he's been pushing away. He's been pushing away any need for friends because he killed most of his mates back in Accident Man 1. So he's convinced himself now that he doesn't need anyone around him. Bumps back into Finicky Fred. They rekindle their relationship. And then circumstances take Fred away from him, and he has to do what he can to get him back and take on a load of assassins that are trying to kill this mafia boss's son. So, that's the pitch.
Brilliant. Listen, Scott, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been great to speak to you. I wish you the best luck with Castle Falls when it comes out, and also with Accident Man 2 when it comes out soon. And I hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Thanks a lot, Howard.
Tell me who you are before I kill you. Maybe we'll just wait till the whole place blows.